Okay, hi. Welcome everybody to Financial Academics. Bear with me, this is my first video, but I think I have some content to share with you that should help those that are looking to improve their financial circumstances. So let's just get right into it. And we're going to start with upper left quadrant there. And the subject there is monitor spending, or monitoring your spending in relation to your budget. So a good budget is just that, but if we truly want to create wealth and achieve our financial goals, we're going to need to execute. And so execution is all about monthly monitoring of spending habits and making the corrections and changes that you need to make to ensure you stay on the right path with your spending. So with most of what we espouse to accomplish in our lives, we use an app. And so I have an app to monitor our family's spending, and I have some colleagues that actually use the app as well, and they've been so kind as to donate some screenshots with their identity and cash balance is protected, but nonetheless those screenshots are going to be useful in helping to illustrate some of the advantages of this app that I use. There are many apps out there. A good friend of mine reached out to me about a year and a half ago and said, man, I really don't know where my money goes. Every month we've got kids, we spend it on soccer, hockey, stuff for school, events, dinners, splurges, tech, gadgets, etc. At the end of the month, there goes $8,000, $10,000, $15,000. And so he reached out to me and said, I would love to know if there's an app that can help provide the data so that you can look at your spending. And after some trial and error, I think I went through about 6 to 7 apps, put them all through their paces, gave them all a pretty fair shot. The app that I wound up with is what I'm going to share with you now. And so the app we're talking about today and what we'll be covering is Spendee. And this is an app that I've been using now for a little over a year. Very happy with it. The idea with Spendee is that you will be less spendy and will be able to, because of the data provided, the analytics, the monitoring, it will help you improve your habits and give you it sort of gamifies the act of staying within your budget, spending within your budget, and therefore saving and staying on track for actual goals. I can envision 2, 3, 4 years on the Spendee app with good compliance, you'll be in a much different financial situation than when you were when you first started. When you first open the web app, this is the dashboard that you're presented with. So you can see that in your budget, what you've been able to save over the course of time from using the app will be registered here. You can see there's some savings that he's managed to save. You can, of course, filter this and look just by category. You can look at it just at takeout and dining. You can view how much you've spent versus your budget in any spending category. Any of your disbursements, you can set it to just review those. And this also gives you a total period change. And then some nice analytics here show you your account balance over the course of time. This is from October of last year, in this case, to October of this year. So there's some nice growth basically ever since March here. Breaking it down a little further, it's the red is your spending, the green is your income. This is not really comparable against budget. This is more comparable against your income. Goal being obviously to spend less than you bring in each month so that you can have a surplus and manage closer to your goals. Going a step further, you then get a breakdown of your disbursements and in relation to your total spending. So this is over the course of the year. Looks like the mortgage cost the greatest amount at 23.1%. And you can see all the other spending categories here. And then for better breakdowns and even the actual total amount spent for this period in groceries. Again, this is for all time, which in this case is from October 2019 to October 2020. So the total amount spent on groceries, debt and loans. Looks like he's broken out interest and fees separately, which I think is smart. So this is the amount paid servicing those debts, and this is the amount charged in interest over the period. And a goal would be to get this down significantly. So that's a look. And then over here on income, you can see the income broken down and percentages removed, just so that there's less of a chance someone able to figure out the primary income source and the amount. Of course, that's private and confidential. But just to give you an idea of what information you would get here if you and so all those disbursements are there. We can see here that the car note and any maintenance on the vehicle cost $15,800, which is high. Must be a pretty nice car. So that gives you that information. Broken down even further, you can see the remaining disbursements and how much they're costing. And of course, up above in this graph, we saw the total percentage each of them amounts to help you visualize where your money goes. Okay, so moving on. This is a further deep dive into one category of expenses. In this particular case, we're looking at groceries. So groceries were a total for the period of $17,000. Which month did you happen to spike? It looks like there was some COVID stocking up happening here and here perhaps, because you can see those were over the average spends. But ultimately, it does look like in this case that spending on groceries did go up. So we would hope that spending on takeout went down in the same time. So let's go take a look at that. So we have here total spent over the period is $5,700. So it looks like it's 12 to 13 months. So on average, spending around $500. And here we see a big spike in August, but otherwise relatively balanced on the amount spent there. Here's that interest and fees, and I think this is why he's broken it out so that he can stick to his plans. And as you can see, any amount spent, any time spent bringing down debt certainly pays you back. And in this case, it pays back in the form of lowered interest and letting the bank take much less of your hard-earned cash because you're servicing debt. So as you bring your debt balances down, you can see an immediate reduction to quite low. We can see here that interest and fees, I guess January probably had some credit card fees on top of interest, so that would be why I would guess January is higher, and February. But you can see that generally speaking, he's around $700 to $1,000 a month in interest at this time last year. And by this time this year, he's more than halved it, a 50% reduction in that. And so over the course of time, that's certainly going to pay off. So that's really good to see. And then a deep dive here into athletics and recreation. The total spend in the family is $6,800. And we can see even down here, these are screenshots, but if this were the app itself, we'd be able to scroll down and look at every single transaction. You can use this for accounting purposes. As you can see, a picture has been taken here of a receipt, and that is a way that my wife and I use this app as well. So we can see kind of bumpy, I guess, quarterly fees are due, and that's how that works. Special occasions and gifts, we do spend money on our friends and loved ones. So here we can see, again, you could even break it down by child. So if you ever want to see exactly how much you've spent on birthdays, Christmases, etc. per child, then that information would be here for you as well. And now here is a breakdown of fuel. Total spend over the period, $3,400. Some other high macro level information, the total transactions, how much is spent on average transaction, the day where you most commonly spend money. That's all there, and really nice to be able to have that information available. And that's it. Okay, so in conclusion, I really do like this app, and I hope some of you do decide to go out and give it a try. This is such a critical part of creating a path for financial freedom, achieving goals like buying a house, setting yourself up for retirement, sending off children to the Ivy League school of your choice. All of this really is about the steps that you took to get there, and budgeting and execution on sticking to a budget over a course of time can set up a lifetime of financial freedom.